Good morning to 100% over here. Under AICT pre-Rana scheme, our college, Irodu Sengundar Engineering College, is conducting for GATE coaching classes for SC/ST students for higher education purpose. Today's session, we will discuss about the electrical machines subject for the topic of AC/DC machines solved problems. Myself, L. Anbarasu, Associate Professor in the Department of EEE, Irodu Sengundar Engineering College, Perundurai, Tamil Nadu. Here, there are a lot of GATE solved problems are available. So step by step, we will discuss about the topics based on their question number year wise. In the year 2013, question number 1, this is 1 mark questions. Leakage flux in an induction motor is. So there are 4 options are there. Flux that leaks through the machine, flux that links both stator and rotor windings, flux that links none of the windings, flux that links the stator winding or the rotor winding, but not both the winding. Here, the exact correct answer is option D. Flux that links the stator winding or the rotor winding, but not both the winding. So it is the correct answer for this question number 1. Next question number 2. The angle del in the swing equation of a synchronous generator is the options A, angle between the stator voltage and current. Options B, angular displacement of the rotor with respect to the stator. C, angular displacement of the stator MMF with respect to the synchronously rotating axis. D, angular displacement of an axis fixed to the rotor with respect to a synchronously rotating axis. Here fourth option is correct answer because A, it is not depends upon the stator voltage and current. Options B, rotor with respect to stator, it is not correct answer. Angular displacement of the rotor with respect to the stator, it is not correct answer. Options D, it is the exact answer for the question number 2. Angular displacement of an axis fixed to the rotor with respect to a synchronously rotating axis. Here question number 3, it is the problem. A single phase transformer which has no load losses of 64 watts is obtained from an open circuit test. That is no load losses of transformer is 64 watts. When a short circuit test is performed on it with 90% of rated current flowing in both LV and HV windings, here the measured losses is 81 watts. The transformer which has maximum efficiency when operated at, so there are 4 options are there: 50% of the rated current, 64% of the rated current, 80% of the rated current, 88.8% of the rated current. So mostly maximum efficiency of your transformer, the copper losses equal to core losses. That is variable losses equal to constant losses. That is the formula behind these problems. There is solutions are available. Solution number 3, the option C is correct. That is 80% of low rated current. That is the correct answer for this question. How it is possible means there is a formulas are available. We have to find out the copper losses at 90% of load. It is given that as 81 watts. The copper loss at 90% of load, that is equal to 81 watts. Then we find the full load copper losses. That is X percentage of copper losses multiplied by full load current divided by X current whole square. It is the formula behind this full load copper losses. Find out the data. So then 81 into 1 by 0.9 whole square. So 1 it indicates the full load current, 0.9 it is the 90% of load current. We get the full load copper losses, that is equal to 100 watts. For maximum efficiency, we know that copper losses equal to no load losses, that is 64 watts. Then question is, so what is the percentage of rated current? So rating of the transformer we have to find out. So that is the formula x square, that is unknown data, x square into copper losses at full load, that is equal to 64. That is x equal to square root of 64 divided by 100. That is the 64, it is the no load losses, divided by 100, it is the full load copper losses. Then x value equal to 0.8, that is 80% of rated current. We can get the maximum efficiency of a transformer. That is the option C is the correct answer in question number 3. Next, 2 more questions. Year 2013 solved gate paper. Question number 4. So it is a 4-pole induction motor supplied by a slightly unbalanced 3-phase 50S source. It is rotating at 1440 rpm. The electrical frequency in hertz of the induced negative sequence current in the rotor is. So there are 4 options of that: A 100, B 98, C 52, D 48. We go for the solution. Question number 4 is option B is correct. How it is possible means, the frequency of the supply, that is F equal to 50 Hz, number of poles P equal to 4, RPM, that is the speed of the motor, N equal to 1440 rpm. We know that there is a relationship between the synchronous speed, frequency, number of poles, that is Ns equal to 120 F divided by P. We can substitute these parameters in this equation. We can get the synchronous speed of the induction motor, that is Ns equal to 1500 rpm. Then we know that slip of an induction motor, that is S equal to Ns minus N divided by Ns. That is a formula of slip of an induction motor. Substitute Ns in terms of 1500, N is the motor speed 1440 rpm divided with 1500. We can get the slip value S equal to 0.04. Then we know that negative rotor frequency, negative sequence current of rotor, that is F0, that is the rotor frequency. It is equal to 2 minus S into F. So 2 minus S, that is a slip, into F equal to supply frequency. You can substitute the F in terms of 50 Hz, S in terms of 0.04. It is the formula negative sequence current of a rotor. Okay. So 1 minus S into F means it is the rotor frequency at normal conditions. Okay. Negative sequence current of in the rotor, that is the formula is F0 equal to 2 minus S into F. You can substitute this, we can get the rotor frequency, that is 98 Hz. Here option B is 98. Then question number 5, it is in transformer formula. The following arrangement consists of an ideal transformer and an attenuator which attenuates by a factor of 0.8. An AC voltage VWX1, that is equal to 100 voltage, is applied across WX to get an open circuit voltage VYZ1 across YZ. Next, an AC voltage VYZ2 equal to 100 voltage is applied across YZ to get an open circuit voltage of VWX2 across WX. Then VYZ1 divided by VWX1, VWX2 divided by VYZ2 are respectively. There is in diagrams are available. W and X, it is the primary winding terminals. Y is that it is the output of the secondary winding. The turns ratio it is equal to 1 is to 1.25. There are four options are there. The solution begin these questions. Option C is correct. That is option C means 100 by 100 and 100 by 100. Here V divided by W x, that is 1.25 divided by 1. V y z by V it is given by a 0.8 attenuation factor. We can find out the V y z by V W x, that is equal to 0.8 into 1.25. We can get the one value. V y z which is equal to V W x. Substitute V W x equal to 100 voltage, V W z equal to 100 voltage. So then we can get the V y z by V W x equal to 100 by 100. V W x divided by V y z equal to 100 by 100. That is the final answer. We can get the option C is correct answer. Then question number 6. Here, sleep of an induction motor normally does not depend on. Sleep of an induction motor normally does not depend on. Already we know that sleep of an induction motor equal to S equal to Ns minus N divided by Ns. That is the formula of sleep of an induction motor. The Ns it is a synchronous speed minus N it is the rotor speed divided by Ns. Here there are four options are there. Rotor speed, synchronous speed, soft torque, and D core loss component. And the question is, the sleep of an induction motor normally does not depend on. So already rotor speed it is depends upon the sleep. Synchronous speed it is depends upon the sleep. Soft torque is directly proportional to sleep value. So torque also dependent value. Then unknown not dependent value it is the core loss component. Okay, so it is the correct answer D core loss component. Here the solution of option D is correct. Yes, S equal to N to Ns minus N divided by Ns. Ns equal to synchronous speed. N equal to rotor speed. So all these three parameters depends upon the sleep value, but one parameter, that is core loss component, it is not depends upon the sleep value. So correct answer is option D. Next year 2012 solved questions. It is 2-mark questions. A 220 voltage, 15 kilowatt, 100 rpm shunt motor with armature resistance of 0.25 ohm, which has rated line current of 68 ampere and a rated field current of 2.2 ampere. The change in field flux required to obtain a speed of 1600 rpm while drawing a line current of 52.8 ampere and a field current of 1.8 ampere. Yes, so there are four options are there. 18.18 percentage increase, 18.18 percentage decrease, 36.36 percentage increase, 36.36 percentage decrease. We can go for the solution of question number 7. Option D is correct. How it is possible means you have to solve this problem. We know that E directly proportional to N into pi. Here this is shunt motor, back EMF E, which is directly proportional to N into pi. So N equal to speed of the motor, flux by E back EMF. So already given that value, terminal voltage 250 voltage, armature resistance 0.25 ohm, N1 RPM 1000 RPM, then load current 1 or line current 1 68 ampere, field current 1 2.2 ampere. So these parameters are already available. in this question paper. Then we have to find out the armature current value. In case of DC shunt motor, Ia equal to IL minus If. Initial RPM, we have to find out the initial armature current Ia1, IL1 minus If1, that is 68 minus 2.2 ampere. We can get the 65.8 ampere. Then we can find out the back EMF E1. So that is the formula V minus Ia1 into Ra. Okay. Circuit 250 volts minus Ia1 65.8 ampere into 0.25 ohm. We can get back EMF EB1 value, that is 203.55 voltage. Then in this question paper, we already given for the another RPM. It is a second RPM N2, that is 1600 RPM. Then another parameters current, that is IL2 equal to 52.8 ampere. Then another field current is 1.8 ampere. Okay. The other parameters are available. We can find out the another armature current, second armature current IA2, IL2 minus IF2. We can get the armature current to 51 ampere. Then we find the back EMF E2 value. So V minus Ia2 into Ra. This is the formula begin the DC shunt motor. EB equal to V minus Ia into Ra. That is the basic formula. You can substitute these parameters. You can get the 207.25 voltage. In case of DC shunt motor, E2 minus E1 equal to N2 by N1 into pi 2 by pi 1. It is a formula for DC shunt motor. And now we can substitute this all these things parameters in this equation. We can get the second flux value pi t equal to 0.636951. There is a reduction in flux value means initial flux minus second flux divided by initial flux. That is the formula begin the reduction in the flux. We can substitute these parameters and get the 36.3% reduced value, decreased value. Okay, that means take outside the flux phi 1 value, we can get 1 minus 0.6369. So that is the final value is approximately 36.3% decrease. That is option D is it is the correct answer. 36.36% decrease. It is a simple problem. Usually we have to determine the final answer in terms of 4 options. The second question, question number 8. The log rotor current in a 3-phase star connected 15 kilowatt 4-pole 230 voltage 50 Hz induction motor at rated conditions is 50 ampere. Neglecting losses and magnetizing current, the approximate log rotor line current drawn when the motor is connected to a 236 voltage 57 Hz supply is. There are 4 options are there. Now how to find out this 4 option correct answer? Option B is correct. That is the solution 8. How it is possible means given that the magnetizing current and losses are to be neglected, the locked rotor line current, that is locked rotor line current IT equal to E2 by Z2. So it is a 3-phase induction motor. It is also known as rotating transformer. That is I2 rotor current IT equal to E2 by Z2. You can neglect the rotor resistance value, that is E2 divided by square root of R2 square plus X2 square. You can neglect the rotor resistance value, that is IT equal to E2 by X2. Substitute X2 in terms of omega L2. So omega equal to 2 pi FL. L2 is inductance of the rotor. Okay. Then we can substitute this value, that is a 230 by 236. So here 230, it is initial voltage, starter voltage. By applying the log rotor voltage, that is a 236. Similarly, supply frequency is 50 Hz. Then after Lagrange rotor, it is the supply frequency 57. We can substitute this parameters in this formula. We can find out the Lagrange rotor current 45.0 ampere. That is in the options B. Option B is correct answer. The next question number 9. This is a single phase 10 kVA 50 Hz transformer with 1 kV primary winding draws 0.5 ampere and 55 watts at rated voltage and frequency on no load. A second transformer which has core with all its linear dimensions root 2 times the corresponding dimensions of the first transformer. The core material and lamination thicknesses are the same in both the transformer. The primary winding of both the transformer have the same number of trains. If a rated voltage of 2 kV at 50 Hz is applied to the primary of the second transformer, then the no load current and power respectively are. There are four options are there here. Here. The core length of the second transformer it is equal to root 2 times of the first transformer. Then the core area of the second transformer is twice of the first transformer. Okay. So finally L2 equal to root 2 times of L1. Similarly Xm equal to root 2 times of X1, Xm. Okay. Similarly Im2 equal to root 2 times of Im1. We can substitute the magnetizing current of second transformer Im2 because can find out the no load current and power. The magnetizing current Im2 equal to root 2 times of no load current 0.5. So that is equal to we can get the 0.707 ampere. Since voltage of second transformer is twice that of first and the second is root 2 times that of first. So power will be root 2 root 2 times the first transformer. Twice the times of first transformer is 2 root 2 times of the first transformer. That is power P2 equal to 2 root 2 into 55 watts. We can substitute this parameters in this equation. We can get the 155.6 watts. Okay. Option B is correct answer. In the year 2011, one mark get questions. Question number 10. A 4-point starter is used to start and control the speed of a DC shunt motor with armature resistance control, DC shunt motor with field weakening control, DC series motor, DC compound motor. Here there are four options are here. Exact correct answer is options A, DC shunt motor with armature resistance control, because the starter which is used to reduce the starting current at the time of the starting. Okay. Here option A is correct, because armature current of a DC shunt motor it is equal to IA equal to V minus EB divided by RA. So at the time of the starting EB equal to 0. So we have to reduce the armature current during the starting time. So we need for the starter. Okay, so that's why option C is correct answer. Next question number 11. A 3-phase silent pulse synchronous motor is connected to an infinite bus. It is operated at no load at normal excitation. The field excitation of a motor is first reduced to 0 and then increased in reverse direction gradually. Then the armature current. So it is a silent pole synchronous motor. It is by reversing the increase in reverse direction of field agitation. So that means it is a inverted V curve shape. So that is the correct answer is first increases and then decreases steeply. The option B is correct answer. Okay, we go for the solution. Option B is correct. The back EMF will go to zero when field is reduced. So the current input will be increased, but when field increases, the back EMF will cause current to reduce. Okay. So it is the inverted V curve shape. Next question number 12. A single phase air core transformer fed from a rated sinusoidal supply is operating at no load. The steady state magnetizing current drawn by the transformer from the supply will give there are four waveforms are there. So it is a single phase air core transformer. So air core transformer means it is almost sinusoidal waveform. So option C is exact correct answer. Other waveforms are not sinusoidal one. Question number 12, option C is correct. An air core transformer has linear biggest characteristics curve. So that's why it is a sinusoidal one, perfectly sinusoidal one. Next question number 13. A 220 voltage DC shunt motor is operating at a speed of 1440 rpm. The armature resistance is 1.0 ohm and the armature current is 10 ampere of excitation of the machine. It is reduced by 10%. The extra resistance to be put in the armature circuit to maintain the same speed and the torque will be. The solution option A is correct. How it is possible means back EMF EB1 equal V minus IA1 into RA. You can circuit 220 voltage minus IA initial armature current 1 into 10. That is we can get the EB1 value 210 voltage. It is a DC shunt motor. IA1 pi 1 equal to IA2 pi 2. We have to determine the IA1 IA2, that is IA1 into pi 1 by pi 2. So 10 into 1 by 0.9, that is 100% divided by 90%. You can get the 11.11 ampere. So already we know that EB directly proportional to N into flux pi, that is EB1 divided by EB2 equal to N2 by N1 into pi 2 by pi 1, that is equal to 0.9. 0.9, it is reduced by 10%, that is 90% of excitation is given. It is equal to 0.9. Then EB2 equal to 0.9 times of EB1. That is 0.9 into 210 voltage. We can get the EB2 equal to 189 voltage. And then another form of EB2 equal to V minus IA2 into RA plus additional resistance. It is the unknown data, so we have to find out this resistance value. Substitute this value 189, that is equal to 220 voltage minus 11.11 into 1 plus R. We can get the resistance, extra resistance to be added in the armature circuit, that is R equal to 1.79 ohm. That is option A is correct. Option A is correct, 1.79 ohm. Then question number 14. A 3-phase 440 voltage 6-pole 50S screw base induction motor is running at a slip of 5%. The speed of stator magnetic field to rotor magnetic field and the speed of rotor with respect to the stator magnetic fields are, there are four options are here. The final solution is 14 option. Here steady state speed of your magnetic field N is equal to 120 F divided by P. Already given data N is equal to 120 into F divided by P. Okay, we can substitute this formula. The signal speed of the motor we can get the 1000 rpm. The rotor speed equal to 1 minus s into ns. The slip percentage is 0.05. It is 5%. That is 0.95 into 1000. We can get the 950 rpm. It is the actual rotor speed. In steady state, both the rotor and the stator manifold rotate in synchronism, so that the speed of rotor field with respect to stator would be zero. So that the speed of the rotor field with respect to stator field would be zero. The speed of the rotor with respect to stator field. That is exact answer is D. The speed of the stator manifold to rotor manifold and the speed of the rotor with respect to stator manifold. That is answer B is correct answer. The next question number 15. A single phase transformer which has turns ratio of 1:2 and is connected to a purely resistive load as in the figure. The magnetic current drawn is 1 ampere and the secondary current is 1 ampere. If core losses and leakage reactance are neglected, the primary current is it is assignment questions for you determine the primary current for these columns. The next we discuss about the some sample problems for DC generator. A 4-pole generator having lab wound armature winding which has 51 slots, each slot containing 20 conductors. What will be the voltage generated in this machine when driven at 1000 rpm, assuming the flux per pole to be 7 milliweber? We know that E is equal to P phi N Z by 60 into A. Already data are available. Flux pi Z A and N. We can substitute this parameters. We can get the generated EMF value. It is a simple problem. Begin the DC generator. The only thing is we can substitute the lab point A equal to P. For wave winding A equal to 2. The next column, a shunt generator delivers 450 ampere at 230 voltage and the resistance of the shunt field and armatures are 50 ohm and 0.03 ohm respectively. Calculate the generated EMF. This is another formula. Back EMF EB equal back shunt generator EG equal to V plus IARA. That is the formula behind this problem. It is a simple circuit arrangement of DC shunt generator. 50 ohm. It is the shunt field resistance value. 230 voltage is a load voltage across the load. IA equal to ISS plus load current I. The load current I equal to 450 ampere already given that as. We have to find out the ISS current and the IA current. Then finally we can determine the EG value. So first determine the ISS value. That is a shunt field current. That is V by RSS. We can substitute 230 divided by 50. We can get the 4.6 ampere shunt field current. Then load current value, it is already available. I equal to 450 ampere. We can substitute armature current IA equal to I plus ISS. 450 plus 4.6, we can get the 454.6 ampere. And then another IA RA voltage drop we have to find out. 454.6 into 0.03, we can get the 13.6 voltage. Now generated formula EG equal to V plus IA into RA. Substitute these parameters. EG equal to 230 plus 13.6. Finally we can get the generated EMF value EG equal to 243.6 voltage. This is simple problems. Only thing we have to remember the formula and the circuit arrangement of various types of DC machine. Next, third problem is a similar problem. Only thing is wave wound armature conductors. An 8-pole DC shunt generator with 778 wave connected armature conductors and running at 500 rpm supplies a load of 12.5 ohm resistance at terminal voltage of 250 voltage. The armature resistance is 0.24 ohm and the field resistance is 250 ohm. Find the armature current, induced EMF and flux per pole. It is a circuit arrangement of DC shunt generator. The solution, we can find out the load current formula begin the load voltage and load resistance. The 250 divided by 12.5, 250 voltage, it is a load voltage across the load. 12.5, it is a resistance, load resistance value. It is equal to 20 ampere. We easily find out the load current value. Then can find out the shunt current value based on the field current 250 divided by 250 volt. It is 1 ampere. It is armature current IA equal to 2 plus 20. Substitute these parameters, we can get the armature current value. Okay, that is IA equal to IL plus. So finally, we can get the EG formula. EG equal to V plus IA into RA. So substitute these parameters in this formula, we can get the induced EMF value 255.04 voltage. And then that is armature current, induced EMF and flux per pole. It is on another unknown data. Based on the EG equal to P5 NS divided by 16 formula, we can substitute this already find out parameters in this formula. You can determine the flux value pi equal to 9.83 milliweber. It is a wave connected. We can substitute A equal to 2. Okay, it is a simple problem. Shunt generator simple problem. So another long shunt lap bound compound generator problem. It is load current of 50 ampere at 500 voltage, 4-pole machine. The armature resistance is 0.03 ohm. Series field resistance is 0.04 ohm, and the shunt field resistance is 200 ohm. We can taken the brush voltage drop taken as an 1 voltage. Determine the EMF generated. Calculate also the number of conductors, armature conductors, if the speed is 1200 rpm and the flux per pole is 0.02 Weber. Naked armature reaction. It is a long shunt compound generator circuit arrangement. Armature resistance value, series field resistance value, then shunt field resistance value, load voltage across the load circuit, load current flow through the load circuit. That is 50 ampere. So simple based on the simple formula, we can determine the EMF of DC long shunt DC generator, compound generator, and armature conductor value. First, we can determine the shunt field current V by RSS. We can substitute the formula V by RSS. We can get the 2.5 ampere shunt field current. Then IA equal to ISS plus I. We can get the armature current 52.5 ampere. Then find out the series field voltage drop and armature voltage drop. Okay, ISC into RSC, IA into RA. We can get a 2 voltage drop across the series field winding and armature winding. Then we can add the brush voltage drop, 1 voltage per brush. We can use for the 2 brushes in this armature winding, brush B1 and B2. We can get we can determine the brush drop 2 into 1, that is 2 voltages across the armature winding. Okay, so totally we can determine the EG generated EMF value 500 plus 2.1 plus 1.575 plus 2. So finally we can get the generated EMF value 505.67 voltage. Okay, then another parameters we have to determine, that is armature conductors. So based on this formula, we can get the total number of armature conductors Z equal to 1264 armature conductors. Okay, it is a simple problem about the long shunt compound generator. Next one, it is a source and common generator problem. Only thing is we have to determine the field current voltage, that is V plus ISC RSC divided by RS. Here 229 divided by 200 voltage. So 229, that means voltage across the shunt field winding. Voltage across the shunt field winding, it is equal to terminal voltage plus ISC RSC. Okay, the terminal voltage plus ISC RSC. So both the voltage across the shunt field winding. That is the difference between long shunt common generator and short shunt common generator. Other things are similar to the DC long shunt common generator. Okay, it is a simple problem behind the DC generator. Okay, next problem. Here long shunt common generator. Field current equal to V by RS squares. Then IA equal to IF plus IL. You can get this value. Then finally determine the series field voltage drop and the armature voltage drop, and also add the brush voltage drop. We can substitute this formula. We can get the generated EMF value. For clarification, we have to draw the circuit arrangement. Okay, simply draw the circuit arrangement, then substitute this value into the formula. Then only we can get the correct answer. It is the another problem, generated EMF equation problem. Simple problem, either lap winding and wave winding. The same DC generator, we have to determine the either lap connected or wave connected. For lap connected, we have to substitute pole number of poles P equal to A equal to that given data which is available in this column. In case of wave wound armature winding, number of poles P equal to given data in this formula given data. Then A we can substitute only in the thing is A equal to 2. So mostly lap wound armature windings, we can get the low voltage DC generator. For wave winding, it is prepared for high voltage. And theoretical type, there are total losses in a DC generator. DC machines or DC generator. The total losses consist of copper losses, iron losses, and mechanical losses. The copper losses, it depends upon the current. Iron losses, it depends upon the voltage. Mechanical losses, it is the rotational losses. The copper losses again consist of three types: armature copper losses, shunt copper losses, and series copper losses. In case of DC shunt generator, only shunt copper losses and the armature copper losses are there. DC series generator, series copper losses and armature copper losses are there. The for common generator, there are three copper losses are there: shunt and series copper losses and armature copper losses. The iron losses consist of hysteresis and eddy current losses. The mechanical losses, which consist of friction losses and air friction or windage losses. These are basic things we have to remember for solving the gate problems. The various power stages and efficiency of DC generator. The mechanical power input to the DC generator, this output of the driving engine, it is equal to input of the DC generator. After eliminating the iron and friction losses, we can given to the electrical power developed in the armature winding. After eliminating the copper losses, we can get the actual electrical power generated in the DC generator. It is the actual power which is given generated in this DC generator. Okay. Okay, a lot of problems are discussed in this session. Next class we discuss it further, other topic. Okay, thank you.